Double trouble with double Krown. Now, I just heard on the news yesterday that they want to microchip dogs. All dogs from 2016 in the UK will have to be microchipped. I don't know how it's going to work. I'm wondering if they're going to ask the dog owners to pay even for microchipping them. Now, I don't really agree with microchipping dogs. Dogs are, one of God's creatures. I don't think you should be microchipping one of God's creatures, unless you're doing it for some kind of research or a study. But they want to microchip all dogs, and what does that even mean? Does that mean that when you take your dog out for a walk, that they will be able to track all the dog's movements? And of course, if they can track the dog's movements, they can track the owner's movements, because the owner is walking the dog. That means they know the routes you take, the places you walk to, the places you go. So is it about tracking the dog, or is it about tracking the owner? And now, I've always wanted a dog. Ever since I was young, I've always wanted a dog. I've never ever had a dog. I've never owned a dog. And because of all the rules and regulations these days, I'd be too scared to own a dog. I was always scared to own a dog because of the vet's bills. So, your dog gets ill, you take it to the vet, and then you end up with a huge veterinary bill. So that didn't appeal to me. But now we've got all these other regulations. Now, a dog has to be licensed. A dog has to be insured in case it bites somebody. A dog has to be insured so you can meet the vet's bills. And now a dog will be microchipped so that it can track all the movements of the dog, and they can always link that dog to the owner. Now, I thought owning a dog was, for some people anyway, was a rite of passage. When you're a child, a lot of kids want to own dogs. A lot of adults would like to own dogs. People who are lonely, people who don't get out much, they can walk the dog. But with all these rules and regulations, if you just want to take your dog out for a walk or whatever, they will now be monitoring exactly where the dog is. I don't know if it's GPS capable, but that will be the next step. And who knows, now they've started microchipping dogs. What's going to happen next? Are they going to microchip babies? Are they going to microchip humans? Are they going to microchip adults? We don't know. Not only that, I saw another thing about dogs being swabbed. So when they take a swab from a dog, they're getting a DNA sample of the dog. That means not only is the dog now microchip, licensed, insured, they will have DNA of that dog, and the dog's DNA will be linked to the owner, which means that whenever the dog does a poo-poo and you don't tidy up after it, you don't sweep up the poo-poo after your dog, they can then test the poo-poo, and the poo-poo will contain some of the dog DNA, which means they know which dog did that poo, and they can issue the owner of the dog with a fine. So again, it's a kind of a money grabbing exercise. It's trying to put people off dogs. Why would they want to put people off dog ownership? Having a pet is a beautiful thing, isn't it? Why do they want to put people off? I've already been put off owning a dog. Why do they want to put people off owning a dog? Well, if you go over to the United States and and you look at what's happening there, you see there's a whole gun control thing going on there, because in America they want to stop people's Second Amendment rights to gun ownership, because the gun is a weapon. And I know there are irresponsible people in the UK who might use a dog as a weapon. So what has the government done? The government wants to control dogs just like they want to control guns in the United States.